Hi, Professor Easley. I am recording my persuasive speech, and I have my boyfriend here to watch. Okay. How many times have you been scrolling through Instagram and an advertisement pops up on your feed telling you that if you buy their product, your biggest insecurities will vanish? How many times has an advertisement popped up of a man or woman with the most perfect body, making you doubt your appearance, making you think that you aren't good enough and that you need to look exactly like them in order to fit in? You are not alone in these feelings. Girls and boys all over the world are heavily affected by the beauty standards that the media promotes to the public. The way the media portrays beauty can have a lasting effect on boys and girls, and it is important to know these effects and how to avoid them. The media should not be allowed to promote a certain beauty standard because it affects impressionable young girls and boys' body image, and the beauty standard is often unattainable. It's impossible to achieve, but it can be avoided. I fell victim to the detrimental effects of trying to live up to the impossible beauty standards that the media was constantly throwing in my face. But I recently learned that everyone is beautiful in their own unique way, and I want to share it with others. First, I would like to discuss how the beauty standards, what the media promotes and what beauty standards they promote as well. Second, I would like to discuss how these standards affect young girls and boys. And lastly, I would like to discuss how these certain beauty standards can be avoided. We have all seen the advertisements of a beauty product that will supposedly change your life and will make you look perfect in society's eyes. But let's dive a little bit deeper into what exactly the media promotes. The media often feeds off of boys and girls' biggest insecurities: their stretch marks, their hip dips, their complexion, height, weight, and so on. In a 2017 article from the Nigerian Tribune, the oldest newspaper in Nigeria that is known for spreading credible and informative news, wrote about a woman's personal testimony regarding the beauty standards in an article called, "Are Your Beauty Standards Guided by Social Media?" The article quotes the unnamed woman by saying, "However, it's so mind-boggling when media, magazines, commercial advertisements, and different platforms perpetrate these deep-rooted insecurities about the female form, telling me that if I don't size myself into looking like every other woman out there, then I don't have beauty." This particular statement is especially alarming because it does not just apply to this woman. It applies to me, it applies to you, and it applies to every single impressionable boy and girl around the world. Now that we have a clearer understanding of the unattainable beauty standards, let us discuss how these standards affect young boys and girls. Remember when I asked you about those pesky advertisements on your Instagram feed? How do they make you feel? Self-conscious? Ugly? Not good enough? Imperfect? If your answers were anywhere along those lines, you are not alone. Social media loves to feed off of your insecurities. If you are self-conscious about your stretch marks, more times than not, there will be an advertisement that pops up about a magical cream that will cure and make you look perfect, but in reality, it won't. In fact, these certain beauty standards and advertisements have a detrimental effect on boys and girls everywhere. In the article, Picture Perfect, the direct effect of manipulated Instagram photos on body image in adolescent girls, Mariska Clemens, Serena Dahlmans, Alana Karbot, and Doshka Anuts of the Behavior Science Institute in Radboud University in the Netherlands discussed the effects of certain beauty standards on adolescent girls. They conducted a case study on 144 girls between the ages of 14 and 18, where they exposed them randomly to original and manipulated pictures of women on Instagram. The results showed that the exposure to retouched photos directly correlated with lower body image. This statistic is both intriguing and alarming. It proves the point on how retouched photos affect how viewers see themselves. There is evidence that shows that mental health issues, including eating disorders, are directly correlated to the media. In the same article that I previously quoted, Clemens, Dahlmans, Karbot, and Anuts discussed the studies conducted in other countries that show girls with an internalized thin ideal who focus on their appearance more, who feel pressured by social media, and who trust social media as a credible source for their body image, are more likely than not to develop an eating disorder. So the evidence is there, and it's horrifying. Girls who rely on social media for how they look are more likely to develop an eating disorder. So far, we discussed what the media specifically promotes and how it affects boys and girls around the world. So now, to wrap up, let's discuss how we can avoid these toxic advertisements and brands altogether. While we can't stop what the media promotes altogether, there should be more restrictions, and we can focus on what we give our attention to. In fact, some brands have recently redesigned themselves to be more body inclusive. Body positivity has become a huge deal in the past decade or so. Brands such as Aerie by American Eagle and CVS were leaders in this campaign. They pride themselves in being true to yourself and making sure that there is something out there for everyone. And this movement is extremely important in making sure that everyone feels accepted and like they belong. Aerie is just one example of a contributor. Aerie and CVS are just a few contributors to the body positivity movement, but others include Dove, Target, ASOS, and more. With that being said, it is more than feasible to promote body positivity. So why do brands continue to promote negative and impossible beauty standards when the evidence of the negative impacts are there? Who knows? But what we know for sure is that the media should be stricter on what advertisements are allowed to be shown as a way of protecting boys and girls from the alarming effects of mental health disorders and physical issues. So let's recap what we learned. First, we learned how the media portrays beauty. Second, we discussed how it can have a lasting negative impact on boys and girls internationally. And lastly, we learned that even though there are negative beauty standards out there, it is becoming more mainstream to be inclusive of all body types, and that the media should be stricter on what advertisements are allowed. The media idolizes a certain beauty type, and their standards affect the mental and physical health of young girls and boys all over the world. But within the last decade or so, body positivity has become a mainstream idea that is proving to have a positive impact on its viewers. This is extremely important. We have the power to say no to these toxic standards. We have the power to pay attention to the body positivity advertisements and brands instead of the ones that play off of our insecurities. We are all perfectly imperfect, and that in of itself is beautiful. Thank you. Landon, you gotta come back.
I do.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.